From our studio located in Madison, New Jersey, this is Real Good News.
I'm like the man they call a seeker. I'm a real truth speaker, and I always cut right to the core. And you know I really ask, cause I get right to the facts and get the answer to what I'm looking for. I can pronto play a lie, I'm a tireless and quiet. I've been a theorist thinker since my youth. My motives on above ground. I've always been a bloodhound for the truth. The truth.
Welcome to another episode of Real Good News. I'm Kate Cherichello Tente, host and co-producer of Healthy in the Garden State, a YouTube-based series dedicated to showcasing how communities across New Jersey embrace wellness through local parks, trails, fitness studios, restaurants, and well-being focused initiatives. More on that soon, but right now, let's shine some light on the great things going on in our local communities. For 7 local families, the dream of owning a home in Morris County just got a little closer. Ground was broken this week in Mount Olive, where Habitat for Humanity, alongside county and township leaders, officially launched a new affordable housing project in Bud Lake. The stone-walled court development will feature 7 single-family homes, all built to energy-efficient standards and reserved for income-eligible families. The homes will stay affordable for generations to come, thanks to deed restrictions. Construction is expected to wrap by 2026. It's a win for everyone, for the families starting fresh and for the community that will grow stronger around them. Affordable housing means more teachers, healthcare workers, and essential employees can live where they work. It strengthens neighborhoods and creates opportunity. Morris County invested $375,000 in federal housing funds to help make it possible, calling the project an investment in the future. Union County seniors hit hard by early July storms now have some relief. County leaders have launched a new storm-related emergency home repair grant for homeowners 62 and older whose single or two-family homes sustained storm damage on July 3rd or 14th. Eligible residents can receive up to $10,000 in no repayment grants to help cover necessary repairs, provided they meet income guidelines and are current on their mortgage and property taxes. An inspection will determine the extent of damage before the award is issued. For those needing extra support, the county's home improvement program offers interest-free loans and no repayment until the property is sold or transferred, available to income-eligible homeowners of all ages. Many seniors are living on fixed incomes, and unexpected storm damage can turn their lives upside down. This grant gives them a way to make critical repairs without the stress on taking on more financial pressure. National Night Out is coming to Madison. On Tuesday, August 6th, residents are invited to head over to the Madison Public Safety Complex for an evening of community, connection, and fun. The event runs from 5 to 8 p.m. and features free food, music, bounce houses, games, and public safety displays. It's a chance for families to meet Madison police officers, firefighters, and emergency personnel in a relaxed, welcoming setting. Community events like this create meaningful connections between residents and first responders, helping to build a foundation of trust that makes Madison a safer place to live. Also in Madison, residents are being asked to lend a hand this summer by cutting back on electricity during the hottest parts of the day. It's part of the town's peak curtailment program. On certain weekday afternoons, usually between 3 and 7 p.m., when energy demand is at its highest, the borough sends out a message asking people to reduce their power use. You'll get a text or email through the Alert Madison system, or you might see it posted on social media. When that happens, small changes can make a big difference, like waiting until later to run your washer or dryer, holding off on charging electric vehicles until after 11 p.m., or raising your thermostat just a few degrees. Here's why it matters. Every year, Madison gets charged based on how much electricity is being used during these peak moments. Last year, those charges added up to over $3 million. By lowering our usage during these short windows, we can help the town save money, and that can help electric rates and property taxes from rising. In New Providence, walking and biking to school just got a little safer, and the town is getting statewide recognition for it. The New Jersey Department of Transportation has awarded gold-level certification to the borough and 3 of its schools through the Safe Routes to School program. The honor highlights local efforts to improve sidewalks, crosswalks, and bike paths, making it easier for students to get to school safely without a car. Last year, New Providence secured over $500,000 in grant funding to support those upgrades. It is a big step towards encouraging healthy habits, easing traffic around schools, and helping families feel more confident about how their kids get to class. Summer in Summit is in full swing, and there is no shortage of things to do around town. National Night Out is back on the Village Green, giving residents a chance to connect with local police, enjoy live music, and take part in games and activities for all ages. It's a feel-good event that brings neighbors together and celebrates community spirit. Thursday nights means Screen on the Green, an outdoor movie and dance party right under the stars. The fun starts with music at 7:15, followed by the movie at 8. And if you are planning to go on July 31st, don't worry, it has been rescheduled for August 7th due to weather. Tuesdays, keep the energy going with the Hot Summer Nights concert series, featuring live performances starting at 7 p.m., also on the Village Green. And every Sunday morning, the Summit Farmers Market is the place to be. Open from 8 to 1 with fresh produce, local goods, and friendly faces at the corner of DeForest and Woodland. Summer in Summit is all about coming together, making memories, and enjoying everything the season has to offer right in your own backyard.
Okay, we are live. Hey, real good news. I'm your host, Tommy Nonnemacher. We're back with another Zoom interview with Morgan McGarry, a child actress from Morris County. She has been in movies. She has been in TV shows. She's an absolute pro and a close personal friend. Thank you very much for coming and joining us today, Morgan.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. So my first question is, I know you're from New Jersey, but you've also been in so many big, Hollywood. You've been in Mama. You've been in Mysteries of Laura. So my question is, how has it been living in New Jersey? Do you have to transfer to Hollywood, to New York, LA? What's it like being a New Jersey local and a Hollywood representative for our viewers back home who may not know what that's like?
Yeah, so I guess a big part of the process is ever since I was I think 5, I've been going into the city for auditions. And now it's pretty different because there is it's mainly Zoom based after COVID, but before COVID it was all my mom taking me into the city for auditions, even during the week, I would leave school some days at 1, 2 o'clock, so I'd miss half a day of school, which is great for a
Right.
kid, but when you're thinking about it, I had so
What do
much
you mean
fun just
Zoom? What do you mean Zoom? Sorry. I know, I'm just
okay.
interested because we're doing a Zoom right now. It's funny.
Yeah. So a lot of it is self tapes, which is just self recorded. But
Mhm,
there's also now instead of the in person auditions, because there's always been self tapes, not as much,
mhm.
but still a good amount. Um, but ever since COVID happened, now there's the Zoom meetings, which is rather than being in person for a callback or something, it's all just hopping on a Zoom with someone and
Right,
getting to work with them that way, kind of face to face, even though it's not really face to face,
right,
but
right, right.
that kind of thing. But honestly, it definitely is very beneficial in some ways because, as you said, I do audition for things that are filming in LA or based in LA.
Mhm.
So it's a lot easier to be able to have those interactions rather than them flying you out to LA for a callback, which I
Oh,
have never experienced, but a lot of
right.
actors have.
Totally, totally. So, oh, thank you. That's awesome. That's so interesting because I it's right now it's so much easier for us to do the Zoom in 2 different spots. So it's I don't know. It's just interesting to me that you could do that with what casting directors and
Mhm.
right. That's awesome. Awesome. So I know you're studying acting now in a university. So what is the transition like from the professional world to now the school world? Has it been a little bit I don't know. It's so interesting. What's that been like for you?
So I guess a big difference is I've always done classes since I was younger, but it's definitely very different. Whereas my classes would be I did a few weekend classes, I did the Stella Adler Teen Conservatory, which was every Saturday.
Mhm.
And that kind of gave me a introduction, I guess, to what I'd be going into with going to school for acting because it was the full day, 9 to 6 o'clock
Mhm.
with a lunch break, which is very similar to my schedule now. A lot of my days are like that. But I guess a big part of it is I used to work a lot with just one-on-one coaching. So for an audition. And then I do classes here and there and stuff, but I never really had the technique foundation. In some ways I did. I did the Lee Strasberg Conservatory as well, during the summer for 2 weeks. So that was kind of
Mhm.
similar. But it's just a little bit of that. It wasn't a whole year long of just working on
Totally.
technique.
So
A
you've
lot of
been
it
in
was
class before, right?
Mhm. And a lot of it was like product based when I was younger, or like just like even like through auditioning, it's always like product, like what are you getting to? And like putting forward to casting directors. But now it's kind of weird like adjusting to just like the process bit to where
Mhm.
each day I'm not trying to perfect anything or like send it out to someone, but rather just like continue my work in like a longer duration, because usually for auditions you get like 2, 3, 4 days to work on it, and then you send it in, sometimes even like overnight, not as much anymore, but still like that sort of thing where you can get like 3 huge scenes with like monologues and like 4 days to do it. But with school it's really interesting, we get like one monologue and we have like 2 months to work on it, or like even like the whole semester, like I've been
Mhm.
working on some materials, so
Right.
it's cool like seeing like just the process of like, I guess, working just on like my technique through that and being more specific with like what I need to work on, I guess. Because I feel
Totally.
like with the audition, I'm like, oh, I got to get it done. I also really
Right.
want it to be great, but it's like I don't have time to nitpick and everything. But now in school, there is that kind of time, which is pretty interesting to work with.
I know, it's so fascinating because it's like, I feel like, I don't know, maybe a lot of our viewers, I don't know, like acting school, I don't know, maybe sometimes it has like these, I don't know, it just seems so like there's a lot to like just even you talking about it, like, oh, there's monologue, and you gotta do a lot of work. It's a lot of like rigorous classwork, right? It's all the time. And I just think it's so interesting because you were so like successful in the past and now you're like going back. So that's really, really great for you. I think that's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what do you think your future plans for? And especially being a New Jersey native, like, are you going to move out of New Jersey or do you think things are going to come closer? You're going to stay in the tri-state area? Because I know you're close to New York. What are your future plans as an actress after you graduate?
Yeah. Well, I think it's really cool now how there's a lot more going on with like the film scene whereas there used to just be like the studios in LA.
Hmm.
Or like even like Mama filmed in Canada, but it's like we used to have these like bigger, I guess, like areas where like films would be happening. Like New York is like TV like based, like with like Law and Order and all that stuff, and then LA is like the big movies and everything. But I feel like now everything's really spreading out like all over the country. Like sometimes I get auditions for like filming in Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, like different spots where it's not as common, I guess.
Totally.
And especially like up in Syracuse, they're filming a ton of stuff, which is really
Oh,
great
wow.
opportunity to like get to like this year we weren't able to audition like through my program, but next year we are
At
able to.
Syracuse
So,
University, right? Yeah.
so it's cool to be able to get to have those opportunities even at school. But I think I'm gonna stay in the tri-state area. I'm gonna move to New York after college. I'm pretty sure, just because of the fact that also like Netflix is really starting to be more based in New Jersey, which is super interesting and cool. So it's like
Right.
pretty
Oh,
easy to
wow.
get
That's
back and
awesome.
forward. Yeah. So
Really
I
love
think
Yeah.
I think I'm excited for like that kind of transition to like more of a New York, New Jersey based industry in the film industry, because it's very theater based, but not as much film, I guess, like in the past. So, yeah.
Totally. Totally. That's awesome. I know we're running out of time, but just because we keep saying like mama, I think it's so cool. Like Morgan was in a movie with Jessica Chastain, Nikolai Costa Wagner. That's how you say his name. I say Jamie Lannister from Game of Thrones because I'm just kidding. Game of Thrones. Like that's so cool. You got to meet those people. You got to work on set with them. It was a horror movie. So that must have been like, and you were so young, like that must have been scary. Can you just give like a little bit of insight on that? Because I'm so like,
Yeah.
so cool.
Um, it's really interesting because a lot of people, ever since I was like even like when people found out about it, like my classmates in
Mhm.
like literally kindergarten, like first grade, everyone was like, "Oh my god, it's a horror movie! Like you must be so scared! Like my mom won't let me watch it. It must be so scary to be in it." And I was like, "What? It wasn't scary. Like it's scary to watch, yeah, but it's so cool to see. I guess like the behind the scenes stuff with, especially horror movies." Um, where a lot of it is like special effects, or like especially with like a kid like of my age, like they wouldn't have like the actor who played mama in like all this stuff.
Like the monster.
Like
Right.
so there's one scene where I'm like picking up cherries after my like dad like goes missing, and I'm like, where's my dad? And I'm like lost my glasses so I can't really see correctly, and I'm like sitting in front of the fireplace with like my sister, and there's like mama in the corner passing me cherries to eat, because that's like you'll see like it's kind of like
Right,
the
right, right. Yeah.
um but it's funny because everyone's like, oh, like you had to look at that, but it's funny because it was just like they were like, look there, like look up there,
Oh,
and,
the
like
director.
look
He
up
was like,
there
"Look
and
there."
like make a face or like look up there and like
Oh
you
my
see something
gosh.
scary, but it was like nothing's up there. Same with Mysteries of Laura. There's a scene where I see my like neighbors like dead in their bed because my dog like runs into their apartment.
Uh-huh.
Um, and they were like murdered. Um, and I run in and there's an X on a pillow on the bed. And they're like, look at the X and scream. So that's I didn't have to see anything. I just looked at the X because of the different
Oh,
angles. So like different from like live theater, like there is a lot of like factors of like they can change the angles and do things to make it so it appears to be like real
totally.
thing, obviously, but it's really like nothing is even there. Like whereas in live theater, it's like something's there, like it's a person in a costume, but this is
Mhm.
like literally me like reacting to an X on a pillow, which
Oh
is
my gosh. That is so funny. I love how you said it's the young. I don't think it's that scary. I mean, I saw Mama. I thought it was pretty scary, but maybe that's just me. Maybe 5-year-old Morgan's a lot braver than old me. But yeah, I think that's all the time we have. Morgan, thank you so much. You're so talented. You're amazing. We wish you the best of luck in school. Take care. Thank you so much for joining us at Real Good News. I mean, you're
Thank you
just
so
thank you
much.
so much.
Thank
Yeah,
you so much for having me.
of course. For Real Good News. This has been our little Zoom interview. Thank you.
Now we're going to shift gears and talk about something that could make a real difference in your health or the health of someone you love. Steve Lubetkin sat down with Karen Grinzaid, Executive Director of JScreen and a leading expert in genetic counseling, to learn more about how genetic tests are helping people understand their risk for hereditary diseases and to take action early.
Thanks, Kate, and welcome to Real Good News. Experts are urging the public to consider the lesser-known but critical factor in many cancer cases, and that's inherited genetic risk. Roughly 5 to 10% of prostate cancers are hereditary, and for many families, knowing your genetic makeup could be the difference between early intervention and late-stage detection. JScreen.org, a nonprofit public health initiative, is urging men and their families to consider the critical role of genetic screening in understanding prostate cancer risk. JScreen offers at-home access to genetic testing for cancer and reproductive risk. JScreen combines state-of-the-art screening with expert counseling to help people make informed, proactive decisions about their health. Joining us to talk about prostate cancer screening is Karen Grinzaid. Karen is Executive Director of JScreen. She's a seasoned genetic counselor with extensive experience in hereditary cancer prevention. Karen, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Why don't we start with why it's important to get tested for genetic cancers like prostate cancer?
I'll tell you that most of the time, people don't know that cancer happens by chance. You know, it could be related to age, it could be related to environmental or other factors, but up to 10% of the time, it's related to a cancer gene mutation. This is true of prostate cancer. So early age of onset, certain types of fast-growing cancers, maybe family history of cancer, those are clues that prostate cancer may be related to genetic factors, but the only way we can know that is to get tested.
So tell us about how JScreen supports that. What is the organization's mission on genetic testing, and how do you go about it?
So JScreen offers testing for hereditary cancer by making it easy for people to access the testing online. And what we do is we get people to sign up online for a hereditary cancer test, which includes up to 50 genes associated with risks for various types of cancer. And that includes prostate, colorectal, pancreatic, melanoma, many types of cancer. And it really gives people a heads up about what their risks are so they can take proactive measures to prevent cancer or detect it early.
So how is genetic testing going to help people in terms of the outcome if they discover they have a genetic predisposition for some kind of cancer?
It's important to get hereditary cancer testing for a number of different reasons. Number one, cancer can be prevented or detected and treated early and more effectively if you know your risk. So specifically for prostate cancer, if you know you have a mutation in a cancer gene, you could do more frequent monitoring via PSA testing. And you can start that at an earlier age than what's generally recommended for the general population. Also, if somebody has a cancer gene mutation, they're often at risk for other types of cancer as well and can be monitored for those. For example, I don't know, a lot of people have heard of the BRCA gene. If you have a mutation in one of those genes, your risk for prostate cancer is increased, but also for breast cancer, which men can also get, for pancreatic cancer as well as melanoma. And if you know that, you can be monitored for those cancers as well. Another really important thing to remember is that genetic testing can help direct your cancer treatment. So if prostate cancer is diagnosed and you have a known mutation in a BRCA gene, there are certain targeted therapies that are available that can help improve outcome, which is new and exciting. And the last thing that I'll mention is that when someone has a mutation in the cancer gene, each of their children is at 50% risk for inheriting that mutation and its associated cancer risk. So it's really important to have that opportunity to test your family and prevent cancers in those individuals as well.
Now, you mentioned a number of cancers that are genetically indicated. Are there other diseases that can be detected with genetic screening?
Yeah, so through JScreen specifically, we offer another type of genetic testing called reproductive carrier screening. And that's a test that can tell a couple who's getting ready to start a family whether they have an increased risk for having a child with a genetic disease like cystic fibrosis, sickle cell disease, Tay-Sachs, muscular dystrophy, and many others. It's a different type of genetic test, but we do offer that through our online platform, and that will determine risk so that that couple can be proactive about planning ahead for the health of their future family. And there are other types of genetic testing as well.
So walk us through the process if somebody wants to get tested or organize a test with JScreen. How does that work?
Yeah. Our whole mission through JScreen, our program launched back in 2013, was to make genetic testing accessible and affordable, make sure that we're doing a comprehensive test, that we're doing medical grade testing, and let people do that from the comfort of their home. So what you do is you go online to jscreen.org, you fill out some information, you receive some education about genetic testing, and you order an at-home saliva collection kit. Again, on our website at jscreen.org. You get a kit in the mail, you spit in the tube, you mail your sample in to the testing lab. A few weeks later, you get your results, a notification via email, and you have an opportunity to speak with a genetic counselor about via telehealth, about what those results mean and next steps for you and your health.
Now, you are yourself a genetic counselor in addition to running JScreen. Talk a little bit about what kinds of conversations genetic counselors have with people who get a result.
Yeah, that's important. A lot of people don't know what a genetic counselor even does. It used to be a rare career for people to go into, and now actually there are a lot of genetic counselors who can help people navigate these kind of discussions. But we're basically healthcare providers that help people understand the risks and implications of genetic testing in inherited diseases. And so in a situation like this, if somebody receives, first of all, the genetic counseling is important to understand what kind of testing you're having done, whether this testing is relevant for you, whether the right kind of testing is being done. And then on the back end to explain what the results mean. What does it mean to have a mutation in a cancer gene? What gene is that in? What are the medical implications for you? What are some of the options you have either to prevent cancer, to detect it early, or to treat it? Which of your other family members are at risk? And how can we really promote health for you and your entire family?
And I guess one of the other questions that's probably going to be on people's minds is the cost that's involved with this. What are the costs? Are they covered by any kind of insurance?
Yeah, so again, we're trying to make genetic testing affordable. And the way that JScreen works is when you sign up for a test, you pay a $49 program fee, which covers a genetic counseling review and follow through, and also a physician order. This is a medical test, which allows us to do the testing on your sample. The test itself is billed through your insurance, and very often insurance will cover the cost of genetic testing. If they don't cover, there is a self-pay rate of $249 if your insurance is not picking up the cost of testing.
Is there anything else that people need to know about genetic diseases and genetic cancers?
Yeah, I will just really say that when it comes to genetic disease and hereditary cancer risk, knowledge is power. Our goal is to improve access to comprehensive testing for your health, for your family's health. And I hope people will visit us at jscreen.org and see how easy it is to get tested.
Well, it's a very interesting aspect of healthcare, and one that hopefully people will take advantage of if they have a need and any indication. Hopefully they'll get some early warnings.
All right, Steve, thanks so much for having me on the show.
Thanks very much, Karen. We appreciate it. If you want more information about genetic cancer screening, you can visit jscreen.org. If you have comments or suggestions about these broadcasts, please email me at steve@statebroadcastnews.com. That's all from State Broadcast News for this program. I'm Steve Lubetkin. Thanks for watching. Kate, back to you.
Thank you, Steve. And just a quick note from me, your guest host this week here on Real Good News. I also host a series called Healthy in the Garden State. It is a show streaming on YouTube where I visit parks, trails, fitness studios, nutrition-focused restaurants, you name it, all to highlight ways New Jersey supports healthier living. We want to help our residents live their healthiest lives and aim to fill each episode with resources, insights, and education into the people, places, and ways that help us in our health journeys. Our first episode begins with a spot just down the road from us here in Madison at Lawanica Brook Reservation, then travels to Denville Farmers Market. We talk trail safety and etiquette, where to find information on the 4,500 miles of New Jersey trails, buying local and fresh, and community spirit. Episodes are released monthly, and in between, our A Dose of Health miniseries features brief interviews with health experts statewide who are empowering residents every day in a variety of ways. Check out healthyinthegardenstate.com for all the details. I look forward to being back with more on Healthy in the Garden State in some future episodes. And now, here's Alan Swanson.
This week, at the Environmental Protection Agency, it was announced there was a plan to dismantle one of the most significant environmental principles of all time. In fact, in Indianapolis on July 29th, Lee Zeldin, EPA Administrator, said, "Today is the greatest day of deregulation our nation has ever seen." The proposed change announced on the 29th was the abandonment of the belief that greenhouse gas emissions are harmful to the planet and humans. Now that I've piqued your interest, let's take a little look at the history. In 2007, the Supreme Court made a ruling that included a requirement that the EPA review the science and research related to greenhouse gas emissions. What resulted was the endangerment finding. This finding, on December 7, 2009, stated, "The administration finds that the current and projected concentration of the 6 key well-mixed greenhouse gases, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, hydrofluorocarbons, perfluorocarbons, and sulfur hexafluoride in the atmosphere threaten the public health and welfare of current and future generations." The endangerment findings is the basis of the 2009 rule that allows the Environmental Protection Agency to regulate greenhouse gas emissions from cars, power plants, and other sources under the authority of the Clean Air Act. In short, it is considered one of the most important legal underpinnings of the federal effort to combat climate change. Lee Zeldin, EPA Administrator, also stated, "We are driving a dagger straight into the heart of the climate change religion." As you can imagine, Zeldin's announcement created a, global warmed response from the entire environmental community and beyond. Interviewed on Democracy Now!, David Doniger of the National Resources Defense Council pointed out that today's cars emit 1/2 as much climate-changing pollution as the cars made in 2008. Doniger added that the EPA, after the exhaustive study in 2009, determined, I quote, "there is a grave danger to the health and to many, many aspects of the environment, and these chemicals need to be regulated." On the same Democracy Now! Broadcast, noted University of Pennsylvania climate scientist Michael Mann stated, "What rescinding the endangerment finding does is take away from the federal government the main lever arm we have, the main tool we have to reduce carbon emissions and to meet our obligations to the rest of the world under the commitments that we have made." Michael Mann also points out that another action being undertaken by the administration is eliminating large segments of the National Oceanographic and Atmosphere Administration. In particular, the scientists who study our atmosphere, our ocean, our climate. Mann stated, "It's literally as if they think that if they stop measuring the state of our climate, our atmosphere, our oceans, if they stop measuring it, it will somehow go away." Expect to see much more along these lines in the near future. The EPA plan also has supporters. The official EPA July 29th release includes Administrator Zeldin, a governor, and 2 members of Congress, blaming former Democratic administrations and touting and praising of the deregulations. In addition, the president of the American Trucking Association and the Small Business Administration praised the anticipated change. What should we all look for in the coming time when this proposal will be coming up for review and comments? We can expect a lot of science facts being thrown back at a renewed effort of the whole climate change debate. Look for a lot of ugly words thrown around by everyone involved. Look for a lot of court filings. In short, look for life as we know it these days. The information and disinformation around this proposal will be mind-boggling. The level of denial of science is likely to be hard to imagine. Fortunately, this proposal has just been unveiled and it must go through a public review process. You and I will have an opportunity to weigh in on the issue with all of our elected leaders at every level. It is going to take the coordinated effort of citizens, scientists, and activists to assure a healthy future for the generations that follow us. Thank you for watching. I'm Alan Swanson.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Real Good News, and we look forward to seeing you on our next episode airing on August 17th. Until then, I am Kate Cherichello Tente, reminding you that real good news is worth sharing.
Now, Allah is halfway around the world. For the truth can put on its pants. Tell the truth. So my mission without fail is helping you prevail. You got to give the truth a fighting chance. Tell the truth. Beauty's truth, truth is beauty. And it's my civic duty to always write a reality. More than love, money, fame, more than rip on your good name.
I'll tell you something else about the truth, it will
Set you free on the road to truth you take. There's only 2 mistakes. Don't go all the way or don't even start.